Hello, Jim from Forage Box TV here. Just checking in with a little bit of Danglecam footage, I guess. I'm currently live from the hammock. It's raining. I've been filming another video. I'm just waiting for my fire to go out. I'm in these lovely woods in northern England somewhere, and I thought I would test out my new kit. To be honest, I bought a couple of little add-on things for the GoPro. How you all doing? This is a bit of a ramble on this one. I imagine lots of people will switch off because of that. But a few people have mentioned that they quite like the videos in the chat. Oh, it's getting heavier. Anyway, I'm not doing a Q&A like some other channels would, because I don't have enough, well, I don't have enough people following it really, but this is a sort of, I guess, a request that if you've got any questions, any tips, any just conversation with stranger anecdotes on the old internet, I'm all ears. You can wang them over to me at my business email address. I'll leave that down below. But thought I'd just check in. I can't really remember when the last time I posted one of these was. Probably looking at. Did I do something in January or December? I can't really remember. But anyway, I did some at some point, and because it's been a while, I thought I'd just let you all know how I am. Let's assume that the last one I did was the mushroom one back in November, which was a great 24 hours really. Lots and lots of mushrooms and lots of things. Completely different end of the year really to that where we are now. This is just at the end of March, beginning of April. How am I? Oh, since you ask, do you know what? I was pretty good. Workshops have picked up again, as in events. Everything was sold out in January because of the Christmas rush. February I spent moving out of our wild deli, which is probably the last thing I spoke to you about, saying come and support us, but that's all done. It'll be back, don't worry. It was popular, it was just the landlord made it tricky. Winter's hard, isn't it? I'm not a fan of winter. I mean, I am a fan of winter. I'm a fan of all seasons, but I think I suffer, particularly being a bit more outdoors based than I used to be. Given that this is my job, I'm basically outside. I've already got sunburn, and it snowed a few days ago. I've got sunburn on the tops of my cheeks from having spent so much time outside, and just 2-3 days of sun, and it suddenly caught up with me. So wear sunscreen. Yeah, I think I suffer from seasonal affective disorder, that sad thing, which is quite sad because I really like being outside when no one else is, when it's raining, when it's snowing and all the rest of it, but I do feel caged in the winter. I understand that people like Christmas, but when people get excited about winter, they think of probably, I guess, big woolen jumpers and Christmas and things like this, and they forget about that slog in January and February. Anyway, it does affect the old head, and whilst it's nothing new to say mental health is important, blimmin' heck, doesn't it? Put it into sharp focus when everyone's talking about it, because you can spot the signs of maybe not having a particularly good time. There are, life isn't dark. I've got good home life. I've been planting the seeds out in the polytunnel. The wild garlic's popping. I found some St. George's mushrooms for the first time this year. So things are cracking on and being all groovy. But you've got to be honest about these things. And yeah, that's kind of it. I don't want to use the big D word, not that big D word. I don't want to say that I'm depressed. I've probably been there in the past, and I'm certainly one who suffers from anxiety. Annoyingly, hangovers have become a real thing recently, and any enlarging it in any capacity tends to any excess of any, let's put it nicely, any excess of any chemical imbalance tends to make me quite anxious. Yeah, I can't drink too much alcohol because the day after I'm horrendously sad and anxious and blues ridden. I can't even drink that much coffee anymore. I've burnt my caffeine receptors out, if there's such a thing, and so therefore I really suffer from the anxiety. I've spotted a few patches of valerian today, so maybe I can pick a few bits of that. Red valerian root especially is very, very good for anxiety, and yeah, it's the sort of sedative, I guess. Yeah, and my 20s and late teens spent maximum larging it out on the lash and other things. It probably meant that I burnt those receptors out as well, which means any light dabbling, not that I do at them, anymore really, any dabbling in that definitely sees me go a bit loopy. So it's really quite a sort of middle-aged thing to do so, but I can feel it and catch it and stop it sometimes, and sometimes I can't. So this is to all you cheesy quavers and pub goers, I don't know what the word would be for that, just to say, enjoy it whilst it lasts. I'm envious of your ability to get lashed and whatnot. Anyway, what does the future look like? Well, I'm currently, other than this camera, having a day off the old emails and things like this, but I imagine I'll have lots and lots of things once I get back to a bit more civilization. And a lot of those are people asking about our events and what's coming up. So, I mean, things that are coming up. If it feels like doing more of these videos is worth it, which I do like doing these because it just allows me to disconnect from the cyber hive. I will probably spam a few people with some event listing stuff. If you're in the northwest of England especially, come and hang out with me on a workshop and let me know that you heard about them through this. It'd be really cool to hear that you were a follower of this channel. I've had a few people who've come along because of that, and that's really quite a compliment. But also, I'm exposing my soul to a little bit of tech out in the a tiny handheld camera out in the woods, which by proxy ends up me waffling on at people on the internet. But yeah, there's not quite as opening up, quite as much opening up and bearing my soul on my workshops, my events. Anyway, they're going to change towards the end of the year because my oldest daughter will be going to school, so I have to rework my working week, so I get to see her at weekends. Other things, I'm going to be walking the National Three Peaks barefoot in the middle of July. Now, I know I'm not the first person to do that. There's actually a chap's channel called Hayes Outdoors. Oh, hello, mate. Got a nice little... I don't really need you on me, thank you. Chap called Hayes Outdoors, who's got a much bigger following than me and is featuring in magazines and stuff like this, so I'm not even trying to grab onto his coattails or anything, but he's done the National Three Peaks and the Yorkshire Three Peaks, I think so, barefoot. Raised a lot of money for Mind, I think, which is quite apt given what we've just been talking about. And good on him for doing so. Amazingly / interestingly, I heard about him doing that after we'd planned to go and do that. So whilst I'm a fan of his, certainly his YouTube channel, I'm reluctant to... Well, no, I'm not reluctant. That's not the right word. I don't want people to think that we're just doing it because someone else has decided to do it. We generally thought of it as it would be a mad idea to do in the pub, and we're raising money for the Christie. The Christie is a cancer hospice charity in Manchester, or based in Manchester, and without pulling on too many heartstrings, they looked after my best bud when he was dying. It was quite a few years ago, but we've got a sort of annual challenge of various charity events that are set up in that name. I'm going to leave a link below as well, so if you are able to, that'd be great. But in order to raise money for that, sorry, that was a bit of a waffle, wasn't it? In order to raise money for that, at Wythenshawe Park in a few weeks' time, I can't remember when, I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head, I'll be doing a charity foraging day where all proceeds will be going to that cause. I'll be doing the day barefoot, wandering around Wythenshawe Park. I hope all the syringes and broken glass has been cleaned up, but that's sort of part of the fun, really. So if you could join on that, if you've ever considered joining in one of my events, or even indeed any foraging event, then get yourself along to that, because you know that all the money that that your ticket price would be, usually would go into the coffers of the person who's doing it for a living. But in this instance, I'm donating one of my working days, weekend days as well. Hopefully you'll get a maximum turnout to the cause so that we can raise as much money as possible. I'll also be, well, I don't think I'm allowed to jangle a bucket, but I'll have a bucket on the day as well, so we can all chuck our coppers in there and whatnot. I know that times are hard at the moment, and that's a real shame that we're in that situation, but if you have any spare pennies going and you want to learn something whilst knowing that you're committing a little bit to charity, then donating a bit to charity, then that'd be great. What else? Just going to drop in casually, running the London Marathon at the end of the month. How's training going? This is how training's going. I'm dangling in a hammock because my legs are tired after walking around a bit today. I have not trained enough. When I lived in London, I applied, which was for a fair old time, I applied every single year to try and enter it because it would have been so convenient. And now I don't live in London, so it's massively inconvenient that I actually managed to land a place. This place is actually from 2019 application, I think. So it's about bloody time I kind of got it done, really, wasn't it? Anyway, that's sort of a thing I just have to get out of the way. The barefoot stuff really is the thing that I'm going to be working on this year. And there'll be more events and more YouTube videos. Who knows? Maybe some other projects as well. I think that's probably it, isn't it? How long have I been waffling for? I can't really tell on these things. I'm still a bit sort of GoPro novice based. I'd love to be able to use GoPro and cameras as swish as everyone else seems to be able to on these sorts of channels, but hey ho, that's not my forte, so I will maintain this. I tell you what about a finishing shot of me turning this off and then showing you where I'm enjoying my dangle. There we go. Well, this is Danglecam signing out. Yeah, like and subscribe and all that, but to be honest, if you've watched until this point, you're already a fan, aren't you? So tell your friends and subscribe them to it or whatever the thing is. Anyway, right, bye.